Yes, as Jeff has just said, my name is Simone URBANI GRECCHI. I work for Banca, Infrastrutture, Sviluppo, which is the public finance arm of the Intesa Sanpaolo banking group, which is the main banking group in Italy. And I guess I'm one of the few representatives from the commercial banking world here today. So as Jeff said, thank you very much. I'll try to bring a financial perspective to the table and touch upon what I hope will be some thought-provoking issues. As we all know, the world is going through some challenging times: financial crisis, currency wars, geographical imbalances, and of course the ever-growing pressure on natural resources are setting the stage for some wide-ranging changes in the way we do business and we live. And this will happen at every level. As a matter of fact, today's threats are all-encompassing. We see supranationals looking to build a stronger international regulatory system. We see the Western world trying to restore fiscal sustainability, and emerging countries conceiving new ways to boost internal demand and to rebalance their economies on a more equal footing. We see businesses striving to find ways to enhance consumer confidence amid sluggish consumption growth. And we see families which are holding on to their money in spite of historically low interest rates and other unconventional monetary measures whose effects are not yet trickling down to the general public. So, as one to say, we're all in this together, and to cast a positive outlook on the future, we believe that a simple yet effective recipe could be to ensure that the needs of the so-called real economy are placed at the forefront of our restructuring efforts. Now, of course, this is not a silver bullet, but we believe that investments in social infrastructure and energy can go great lengths to achieve this goal. To do so, we believe there are a number of prerequisites to meet. Firstly, as far as central and local authorities are concerned, and I guess this is an issue we touched upon very briefly today, this implies addressing the short and long-term needs of the ever-growing population, especially now that the so-called mega-cities are entering the scene, becoming the latest trend in urban development around the world, questioning the notion of our current growth models and our ways of life. Secondly, from the industry regulator standpoint, this entails the strengthening of the legal framework through simpler authorization processes, clearer regulations, and the creation of a level, most importantly, liberalized playing field, such as in the case of the European energy market, very much in need of better cross-border integration and greater competition. And lastly, in a globalized world, families are and will increasingly be asked to embrace a more frugal use of natural resources to ensure that sustainable local actions do spill over at global level. So in this context, we believe that financial system can play a crucial role. While the debate of the social utility of financial institutions still rages, and rightly so in many cases, there are a number of schemes that can be successfully implemented to fund infrastructure and energy projects, such as public-private partnerships, equity injections by venture capital, and fundraising in the capital markets, either through investment funds or the so-called project bonds. Infrastructure and energy investments may therefore trigger a more sustainable long-term development of our economies. In spite of all the painful public cost-cutting programs which have been announced by many countries around the globe, we still see how investment in social infrastructure and alternative energy still lies at the very core of the public agenda. This notwithstanding, let's not lose touch with the reality though. To begin with, governments are trying to move away from the energy source our civilization is built on, which is hydrocarbons, of course. But as economic development is lifting millions out of poverty, enabling masses to buy goods and consume like never before, pressure on global energy demand is bound to mount. Furthermore, hydrocarbons are still the most effective source of energy, as they can be easily extracted, transported, stored and used, while unfortunately few of today's alternatives offer such an attractive combination of features. In addition to this, wind energy production costs are still high compared to other traditional sources. In Italy and elsewhere, the only way to make wind energy projects financially viable is through public subsidies, the so-called green certificates, which usually amounts to 2/3 of total revenues of wind energy operators. Another good example of the uncertainties we face today is the automotive industry, where some of the top players actually state that 10% of global car sales will be electric in 10 years, while other operators temper such enthusiastic figures, estimating that only between 1 and 5% of global sales in 2020 will be hybrid and electric combined. So we therefore need to rethink our growth models, and going forward we propose a number of factors that could make a difference. A reliable long-term regulatory framework to give investors the necessary peace of mind to commit to new technology, such as, for example, carbon capture and storage. The right combination between private and public capital to fund such initiatives. And of course, a better, deepened understanding of some specific strategic markets, such as renewable energy, by the financial world. These, of course, are just some examples of what we could do to restore confidence and eventually allow our societies to switch to the new consumption models we need to embrace. But as long as everybody thinks that everybody else should be driving an environmentally friendly vehicle, the task of changing our paradigms, which eventually rests upon each and every one of us, will definitely be daunting and one for the ages. Thank you very much.